Hey, welcome in everyone to Dom Time. It's our weekly roundup with Dom Giordano, and tonight's pundit, Chris Friend, who is really an example of somebody in the new media. He's also in the old media, newspapers and the like, but various blogs, websites, a lot of TV and radio. Let's talk about public enemy number one. I'm looking at the FBI list. John Dillinger used to be. It's Paula Deen now. And, you know, I don't like particularly Paula Deen, never liked anything about it, the whole thing. Her biggest crime, I think, is what she was telling people to eat. And then when the diabetes hit, there was a lot of backsliding. But as we're speaking now, this is by my charting about 10 or 12 days of this unbelievable chain of stores dropping her every single day. Now, is it worthy if she did some of this type of stuff, the N-word and what she's admitted to?
Of course not. But in America, we seem to go for the easy road. We don't really want to tackle race relations in this country because that actually takes effort. That takes work, Dom. It's much easier to kind of get a target up there with Paula Deen's face on it and kind of throw darts on it. This is not moving the debate forward. And you know what? To have all of these companies, and I understand that their lawyers are saying, get rid of her and drop her, but whatever happened to loyalty? I don't think Paula Deen is a racist. And I don't think most people believe that either. She grew up in a different time. Doesn't excuse necessarily that at all. But, you know, she was honest. She was forthright. She said, yeah, you know what? You know, I've used some colorful language in the past. You know, it has said she's sorry for it. So somehow she can't be forgiven for that. I think a company that would stick with her would get a lot of points for loyalty from a lot of people. And no, that doesn't mean that company would be racist or have racist tendencies.
Yeah, but they must be sensing in their market. I don't see this backlash. I think a lot of people are saying, here's what the deal is. They're saying exactly what you said about Paula Deen, but they're not enraged. Whereas the other side is enraged on things like this. So what do you do when the one side's in agreement, but they're kind of tepid? They're not going to rise up and punish Target or any of these others because they dropped her. But if you don't, you're going to get punished.
Well, again, I think it's a lot of kind of a sheep mentality. I think once one does it, they all kind of follow suit.
They must have to.
And nobody wants to be the one to stand up and say, you know what, enough is enough. You know, no, we don't endorse anything like what she said there. We've known her for a long time. She's a good person. We know her well, and we don't think that it's necessary to do that. We're not going to drop her. I don't think it's in their interest to necessarily do that. But again, crisis management experts will tell, you have to jump up and run away from it.
The word itself, I'm okay with taking this word out, and I get it somewhat that rappers and others can say it, and I pretty much get that because it's done in one manner over here versus somebody who's more unfavorable with it. So I'm okay with that. But I just think that sacrificing this person, when you have Alec Baldwin out there making gay slurs, you have Jennifer Lopez doing this, and there's no mention. When you have President Obama, who was a bigot apparently 14 months ago, in my view, he was against gay marriage.
Right, exactly, and there's certainly a double standard there. Paula Deen just happens to be an easy target right now. And it just seems like so many things in this country, the pendulum will swing the other way so quickly and so hard. And the one thing we love to do in this country more than build people up is to tear them down.
Well, let's talk about that too. She's from the South. And I think that's one of the acceptable groups that you can go after, mock, call into question, whatever. You're allowed to take free shots at them, but if they do anything, they get the full punishment.
Right, which is bigoted in and of itself to be able to do that. So again, I do think it's a travesty there. I mean, if I had, if I were the CEO of one of those companies, I'd be standing by her, so long as I believe sincerely that she doesn't have racist tendencies there. And when you look at her and you've seen her for so long on TV, I really don't believe that she had any type of ill will when she said things like that. And people make jokes and they say that in jest sometimes, and you're right. Other people can say it. You know what, Kramer, Michael Richards, when he says it when he's at a stand-up act, his career pretty much ends after that. But again, if you happen to be that black comedian, that's okay.
Yeah, but Michael Richards meant in a way it was pretty vicious at that point. Don't you think?
But he was still, a comedian. It was more. I'm not defending that. I wasn't there.
Right.
But there seems to be a double standard that if you're black, it's okay to say it, but if you're white, it's not.
And isn't it okay if you're ethnic, if you're Giordano, okay to say things among Italians? You might not be able to do it.
Well, and that's again.
There is a certain logic to that I get, but this is just way.
We just go so far in this country, and I think it's a shame to see someone who has built up such a great business and a great name that within the span of 10 days is being all dragged through the mud, and she'll never recover from that ever. She'll be scarred.
Okay. I want to turn attention. We talk here at the weekly roundup not just about serious things like Paula Deen, but also sports. Philly's not so good right now. You have an upcoming column, and you've kind of written about it before, that fascinates me. Maybe allowing Major League Baseball players to use steroids, which I would be completely against on every level up and down the line. Well, why would you think that might be something that they should be able to do?
Well, I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of flack for that. Quick background though, the biggest hypocrites in the sports world when it comes to steroids has been Major League Baseball.
Sure.
When most people will tell you, if you ask them when did they outlaw steroids, they'll say the 70s or the 80s. It was really 2005, 2006. They rode on the backs of the Barry Bonds, knowing that they were probably doing it. Again, when you look at them, you got a
We
lot
had a
bigger.
giant pumpkin head.
Right.
I mean, you had to watch it around Halloween. I saw him
But
up
they've
close.
never been able to, to prove that. But fine. So he's doing it. It's not against baseball's rules. And then all of a sudden, when he gets near the hallowed records, Bud Selig's going to play the holier than thou. I'm not going to go to the game. I'm not going to stand up when he comes up to the plate.
I would have
Come
stepped
on.
in and stopped him from hitting 555. I would have suspended him right there. That's what I would have done. Power of baseball, cause of it. He did it. We know he did it. There's enough evidence. He's admitted to a lot of it.
But if it
Why not
wasn't
stop
again,
him?
my issue is this: Barry Bonds was an easy guy to not like.
Right.
The media didn't like him, and
Right.
kind of alienated a lot of the fans. But if it's not against baseball's rules, remember after the '94 strike, baseball almost went under. They needed the long ball. They got it. There were a lot of guys on steroids. They looked the other way. The
But
fans
take me
didn't
to
really
why
care.
you would allow them. You think a lot of them would do it and
It's
just
not,
let them make a decision?
Well,
to
look,
do it?
it's the level of play is going to be raised without a doubt.
Right.
If you are willing to take a number of years off of your life, and that may happen, give them that choice. If they're going to live to 75 instead of 80, but they may make $20 million instead of $2 million a year, and the level of play goes up, let them make that choice. It's not a great role model for kids, but the message has to be, you know what, you've got to be responsible for your own personal actions. You're not on cocaine, you're not on crystal meth.
Okay,
It's
how
not-
about me, though? I don't want to compete against a guy like you frothing at the mouth and suddenly bulked up like this. We're having a debate here, and you're using steroids against me. I don't want to compete against that. I should have to.
No, you don't have to, but you can go sell insurance or play double-A ball. There's
So
no
this-
there's no
yes.
God-given right to play Major League Baseball. You look at Lance Armstrong. People
Right.
kind of get this impression that when you take steroids, you automatically get big. No, you have to work even harder to gain that muscle mass. You're still pedaling the bicycle. Barry Bonds still had to hit the ball. The toughest thing in all the sports, to hit a baseball.
Yeah,
And even
but-
bigger, how to make the
Right, and that last 10 or 15 feet is the key thing. Guys hit it to the warning track. This is the type of thing to put you over
that'll
the
get
wall.
it over. And I
Yeah.
really don't think the fans, if the level of play goes up.
On that, you're right. I think they see these guys.
They
as
knew what was going
gladiators.
on.
Let them do whatever they want as long as they entertain us.
Right, and as long as when you take steroids that you're not kind of whacking out like you might on cocaine or some of the other heroin, if it's only your own life that's being compromised towards the end or whatever that is, let them make their own decision on that.
All right, that's Chris Friend on it. He's on the record on this. That's a future column. More with Chris Friend as our weekly roundup continues here on Dom Time.